When we bought our trailer, the spare tire was mounted on the back of it, on the bumper. But then we installed a bike rack there and moved the tire into the bed of the truck, where it took up way too much space. Today, we're excited because we found a new solution and are thrilled with the results. Let us show you what we did. Living and traveling full-time in our 22 MLE is a dream come true for us. But traveling with all our belongings in a 22-foot-long RV can sometimes be challenging. Happily, we just added some more space to our truck and transferred some extra weight back toward the trailer's axles, more evenly distributing our load. Let's give a quick overview of how this all came about. When we purchased the RV, our spare tire was mounted on a bracket on the rear of the trailer. Many RVs have this same setup. This worked fine until we wanted to bring our bicycles with us. We reinforced the bumper with some weldments to the trailer's frame and mounted a rack that holds our bikes on the back of the camper. And that can easily be mounted onto the back of the truck when we want to bring our bikes to, other trails. Now, the spare tire really didn't fit well on the back at the same time as the bike rack. Space-wise, it was not great, and weight-wise, we preferred not to have those extra pounds on the bumper. So, we put the spare tire in the back of our truck where it took up a lot of space. Then, we came across this great under-trailer bolt-on spare tire carrier, and it's a game changer. It was very easy to install, and has now freed up space and weight in the back of the truck. Here's how we did it.
Here are the tools we used for the job. A 9/16 socket and ratchet, 9/16 open-end wrench, a drill, 1/4 inch and 3/8 of an inch drill bits, and the box with all the parts and bolts. This rack is expandable and fits trailer frames from 52 inches to 72 inches in width. First, we installed the tire carrier support brackets to the main rail. Then we put everything together on the ground just to see how much space it took up, where the tire would sit, and to make sure that it all looked as we expected it to.
So when we're all done, we'll drill another hole here. There are two options for mounting, depending if you want to go in the I-beam of a frame on the trailer or on the bottom. We're choosing to go on the bottom of ours, so we'll be using these holes. And that's the way it'll mount. We're doing that because we have the coroplast underneath, and mounting it inside just isn't possible. Some RVs that don't have a coroplast underside could use this pair of holes and go right in the I-beam's wall. They would, of course, then have to drill a very large hole to access that nut.
There are different directions and locations you could mount your rack. We highly suggest you mount it so the lowering bolt would be on the passenger side of the trailer.
We're deciding to put this end of the device on the right side of the RV. So it'd be like on the passenger side of the truck when we're driving down the highway. If we ever need to access the spare tire, we'll be standing on the shoulder of the road as opposed to over there on the left side of the vehicle and maybe in traffic.
We chose to mount it in front of the axles. Behind our back axles are our black and gray tanks, and there are some bulges that would have made the rails not sit flush unless we made additional adjustments. Not to mention that a spare tire behind the tires would get a lot of mud kicked up on it. We didn't want the tire to be in the way of anything. In our case, the fresh water overflow is here, and so we measured and confirmed that nothing would impede the movement or placement of the new rack or of the spare tire itself. We drilled the first hole in the I-beam.
I used 3 different drill bits, each increasing in size, to get through this thick piece of metal, the I-beam's bottom flange. Before drilling, make sure you don't have any wires, brake cables, or propane lines in the way of where you're going to be making your holes. Next, we measured to make sure that the 2 rails of the spare tire carrier were equidistant from the axles on both sides, so it would be straight. Then, we drilled in the 2 holes on the opposite side of the RV to mount that second half of the rail.
Hot metal. Don't start a forest fire.
Time to put this piece of the bracket on the left side of the RV. There we go. That's a good start right there. So once these 3 holes are drilled and the screws are in place, it's easy to see where the 4th hole has to be drilled so that you can put in the final screw. Initially, we thought the bracket would go beneath our propane line, since the propane line could recess into the coroplast underbelly a bit, but on second thought, we preferred to put the propane line below the steel rail. It'll be less chance of it being squished and damaged out here. We added a piece of rubber with zip ties in order to prevent any potential rubbing that might occur between the propane line and our new rail. Through this rubber sheet first, then through this hole in the steel, through this rubber sheet second. Oh yeah, that looks nice. There we go, that's nice. That'll keep the rubber hose from rubbing against that steel for years to come. Smiling, Heather? Good. Then we put the 2 rails together in the center and drilled a hole through to join them together. There we go. And then the nut. And then we'll release our wooden support block. Alright, and that support screw is in, so the block can come out. Nice.
Yay!
Alright, that's a big part of it there. That's the job. Oh, and that's nice and rigid. As you can see, with a few pieces of wood to help add some support, this can easily be installed alone.
Now, using the same speed wrench that came with the RV for the stabilizer jacks, we lower the bracket that will go through the center of the tire to hold it up under the trailer. Install the tire and raise it up again. Although it looks really low, it's actually 1/2 inch higher than the axles. How far is it?
All right, well, off of the bottom of our frame and coroplast and everything, we got 11.5 inches. I'd say 11 is a better number. But that's really not a loss of any sort, because the axles themselves have always been at 11.5 inches. So this spare tire is 1/2 inch higher than the low point of the axle. Good, we didn't lose any ground clearance.
Well, as you can see, this is an easy install that could be accomplished by one person in just a short time. We are thrilled with the results and are so glad to get that tire out of the bed of our truck again. Let us know if you install one of these or something similar on your rig. And until next time, we look forward to seeing you on the road. Check out some of our other videos and subscribe to our channel. New content will be posted weekly.